Hello there, my darling dragon friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel. I am the Sassy Dragon, and if you've been here with me before, you know we're just going to jump right on into it. Today we're going to be talking about the new fragrance from Dolce & Gabbana called Devotion. This was formulated by Olivier Cresp. I am a fan of his perfume work on the whole, and so I definitely wanted to try this one out. And it is a very tasty fragrance. So this is a release for 2003, and it is top notes of candied lemon, middle notes of orange blossom panna cotta, which is a kind of vanilla cream Italian dessert, and rum. Base note is vanilla. So this is not a heavy fragrance at all. I've already tried this on. I've already given it a sniff. And I really like the bottle. I just got to mention, I think this is there's something very vintage feeling. There's almost, I don't know what it is. It almost gives me a 70s vibe. Just something about the box. Something about the way the print and the way the feeling looks. There's something very classic about it. It has this very, beautiful kind of gold Sacred Heart emblem just, on the bottle. It's a very nice, heavy, clear glass bottle, so it's pretty classic looking. The top is embossed with the DG there. So it has a very nice presentation. And I'm going to go, I like the atomizer on this bottle as well. It comes out in a very nice fine mist. So I'm just, I really do like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more on. It's a really interesting one to me, even though this kind of, it's a very gourmand fragrance, but it does have some sophistication behind it. It's not real foody, even though it has a lot of food notes in it. And so I really do appreciate that. The lemon is pretty strong right in the beginning. And I think for anyone that's worn lemon fragrances or you smell lemon fragrances, it is a little bit hard to, separate the lemon notes from something like a cleaning product, because that gets back into some deep roots, right? And we know that perfume and fragrances and scents really play on our memories. And so for anybody that ever grew up having, wooden furniture being cleaned by Lemon Pledge or any of those lemon-based products, it's really hard for us to separate that. I definitely smelled my share of lemon cleaning products in my life, but I also, my mom made a wonderful lemon meringue pie, when I was a kid growing up. We always had a lot of lemonade and iced tea with lemons. So I did have also a very nice association with that lemon fragrance. So I really do like the scent of lemons. I cook with them all the time. I love lemons, so it's not a hard one for me to enjoy. But for some people, the lemon note may come off as very cleaning product to them. So just keep that in mind as you smell this. Now, on the description on Fragrantica, it states, Devotion is a celebration of the Italian dessert panettone and its delectable aroma. Now, it's interesting because panettone is an Italian cake, and it's often found around the holiday season, which we're just around the corner from. And I love panettone. Oh my goodness. It's a really interesting cake because it's not a cake in the way that you normally think about it, being really sweet with a ton of icing all over it. It's almost like a fruit bread cake. It has the candied lemon and sometimes orange peels in it. It has the rum, so that's something I definitely get in this. It's a little bit boozy. As I was smelling this, as it dried down through its many layers, I said, there's something just a little boozy, and it's definitely the rum because they do put that in that cake. And it does have, of course, that vanilla, but overall, when I smell this, I wouldn't think of a cake. I wouldn't even think of a cookie. It does not have a baked goods smell to me. Some people might really disagree with that, but just because it's lemon with vanilla doesn't make me think lemon cookie or cake with this one. And I think the reason that it doesn't is because the orange blossom in here gives it a freshness. You definitely smell that on first spray. And I think, you know, that kind of orange blossom scent, that kind of slight neroli scent, it really gives a floralcy, it gives a freshness, it gives a sort of sophistication and a classic quality to this. It keeps it from veering into like full-on baked good territory, which I really love about it, because even though I love gourmands and I love sweet fragrances, I'm not somebody that necessarily wants to go out smelling like the bakery or like a pastry. So this gives me personally the sweetness and the deliciousness of those foodie notes, those gourmand notes, while keeping it a little more classy, a little more sophisticated, a little more fresh, and not necessarily making me just smell like a whole baked good. I really do enjoy this one, even though it's not heavy at all. And the dry down, you really get into more of that vanilla, a little bit of the rum. It's kind of a slightly boozy vanilla with a little bit of that whipped cream smell, and you're getting that from the panna cotta. I love panna cotta. We're really on an Italian dessert tour with this one. Panna cotta is a custardy sort of dessert. It's made with gelatin, heavy cream, and vanilla, and you can find it kind of semi-frequently in Italian restaurants, but it's delicious. It's cool, it's vanillic, it's milky, it's light, even with the heavy cream, and it has that in here. And all of that kind of comes together, I think, for them to try to create that sort of panettone fragrance. Now here's what's fun for me, because I have a nose that remembers fragrances like crazy. If I've smelled it before and I smell something again that reminds me of it, I'm going to remember it. So here's what kicks me. I was reading through some of the comments and, you know, commentary on this fragrance, and some people were saying that this reminded them of a fragrance from Acro called Bake. I have not smelled that, but they said, you know, it's a very, like, it's a lemon baked good kind of scent. There were some other people that said it reminded them of Lyra from Grzegów, which I don't think it really does. But here's what I actually think it smells the most like that I have smelled in my life, in my experience. It smells so similar to Aquilina's Gold Sugar. It is crazy. Now, Aquilina Gold Sugar, the big difference was that it had coconut, and instead of lemon, candied lemon, it was orange. But it still had that very strong citrus. It had whipped cream, it had vanilla. It was an orangey, citrusy vanilla mix, which this also has quite a bit of in it. The difference with this is I get a nicer orange blossom note, which that I think also did. I think it had that floral in the middle. And I also get the lack of the coconut, which coconut for me in perfume can be a real mixed bag. I don't usually like it. I've had coconut essential oils and things like that where just the pure scent of coconut smells really good. But when you start blending it with other things, for me, it gets a little weird. I don't usually like coconut in blended perfumes, even though I love coconut. The way it smells, the way it tastes, I'm crazy about it. But in the Gold Sugar by Aquilina, there was a very, I think, noticeable coconut component to that fragrance. And as a result, it wasn't my favorite. It smelled good, but it wasn't something that I wanted to wear very often because of that. But this one is like it's like Olivier Cresp took Aquilina's Gold Sugar and turned it into something that's a little more sophisticated, a little bit higher end, a little more luxurious, and took out the coconut and added a little bit more lemon instead. So I'm pretty happy with this one. I really enjoy it. The other thing that I'm going to say is very funny, because I made this association recently with Kayali. This is that sort of bright, you know, light green pistachio gelato fragrance. Olivia Cresp also recently formulated this, and when I smelled it, I thought Aquilina Pink Sugar Sensual Pink Sugar. I don't know what's up with this guy. If I was able to ask him, I would love to ask him, what are you doing? He's bringing us back, because, you know, I think Aquilina discontinued both Sensual Pink Sugar and gold sugar. They're gone, I think. I don't think they're currently in production anymore. But with these two fragrances, I feel like he's giving us back these Aquilina sugar fragrances, but he's making them nicer, because to me this, you know, this Kayali pistachio gelato is like the sensual pink sugar, but it's nicer, right? I like it more, but it's similar. It hits that same, you know, spot for me with that. Oh my goodness. So very interesting what I've sort of discovered with my nose through these fragrances. If you are a fan of either one of those, you know, old Aquilinas, you might really enjoy this. If you've had the Aquilina Gold Sugar before, you're probably going to love this if you liked that. But I really enjoy it. To me, this feels like an all-season kind of perfume, all-occasion kind of perfume. I wouldn't necessarily put it in the category of sexy sensual for the devotion. And it's an interesting name too, right? Because when I think of devotion, I think of either romantic or spiritual devotion, right? It's a very interesting word for it. And I almost feel like it's just a devotion to deliciousness with this fragrance, because it's light but not too light. It manages to have, you know, just enough roundness and enough base, but it doesn't have anything heavy in it. There's no sandalwood, there's no woodsy notes, there's no musk, there's no patchouli, right? So if you're really looking for just a nice, sophisticated, you know, citrusy, vanillic with a nice orange blossom floral in the heart, it's really nice for that. For some people, they may find that lemon a little too, you know, much or too screechy. But I will say, if you give it about 30 to 40 minutes, the lemon component does dry down quite a bit. And then it becomes a nice kind of boozy, slightly floral vanilla. It's a good scent. I think you'll get a lot of compliments on it. And it smells great. Like when you just have it, like spray it, you know, just behind your ears. The waft, like that, you know, that's coming off. It's so nice that I would imagine this would be a good compliment getter. I haven't worn it in public yet, but if it smells that nice when I'm just kind of catching little whiffs of it, I'm like, oh, that's really, you know, it smells so good just coming off your skin. So I'd imagine this would be a good compliment getter for really any time of day, any occasion, but I wouldn't call it like a super sexy or like nighttime kind of fragrance. It feels a little more daytime to me, even though I'm not going to tell you when to wear, how to wear. If you enjoy it, wear it. That's my only rules in perfume. So have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, whatever time it is where you are, and I'll be seeing y'all again soon. Take care.